So you were born ready. Let's delve deeper into that.
Yes, I technically was reborn ready. You know, when I came out the womb for the second time, I said, you know what, I'm ready for this, and I never looked back.
You're not as ready as Woods is for that Superman punch. That man looks like he's about to get knocked the fuck out. Can I say on the left? Like, oh no!
See, you're looking at that. He took a Superman punch with a pledge. I mean, with the crown on. But then you look at Jimmy Uso, who got his right hand over his heart. He trying to pledge allegiance because he know he already messed up because he almost bent that knee.
He got gas.
I was tempted to use the full picture of Woods getting Superman punched because there's so much going on in it. Look at Jay. Look at Kofi. Look at the referee. Jimmy's kneeling.
I think Jay is the best one because Jay is like, don't do it. And like
even the referee shocked. Oh!
But can I say my favorite thing about the whole bend the knee or acknowledge the tribal chief stipulation was the fact that they made the art drawn graphic, which I think they just took photos and then put it like a little filter over it to make it look like it was hand drawn. And I was like, so technically Jimmy was in the back practicing bending the knee. I don't know. Yeah. I just really enjoyed that whole. We'll talk about it when we get to SmackDown.
I just like that it made it look like a courtroom drawing. And then man. The only other thing I've got to work with was this.
That's an amazing image.
That's a great.
That's an amazing image.
I'm shocked though that Angry Shotzi didn't get to make a play right here
because there was no image of it.
She never walked out to the ring.
Or Manny, and I know how you enjoy clickbait. Aaliyah in the back. I'm just saying.
I mean, there was the only. I did take a screen capture of that. I was going to send it to you. Like, what do you think these two? What do you think these two were actually talking about? Her and Jeff Hardy. What the fuck were they actually talking about?
We should save that conversation for the show.
We should. Oh, and I do have this.
Just like CM Punk, I've waited a long time to say this, but welcome everyone to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
Oh, and I am Marcus the Great.
Nice way to uplift the listeners, Marcus, with your rhetoric, Marcus. I appreciate you. You know what?
You know, I want to sound like Krang.
I was going into the dark places. I got my 80s supervillain voice going on for me. 80s cartoon villain. It's like, come on, He-Man, back up.
So in other words, you're just like Boa. You found that makeup kick. You was about to turn the lights off and have face paint on your face. There it is. There it is.
Someone got into mommy's face makeup kit. She's like, what are you doing?
He wanted the paint to be a full hashtag, but he ran out of paint and he ran out of time. So that's why he has like a single hashtag. Like he's auditioning for.
This could look like the start of a video of when I was a young boy. Took me into the city.
Or it could be a sign that he's signing with AEW so he can go team with Pride and Powerful since they also wear the white paint with the black eyes. You know, inspired by dead presidents.
You mean reverse blackface? That's they call it.
In a way. I like that's the version of Dead Presidents they got in China. They got the bootleg version, so that's how the paint face looked over there. Oh, look at me already being offensive, and it's not even 2 minutes into the show.
That wasn't that offensive.
I know, but
I am a little bit upset about you, Eric.
Oh, be upset with me, Manny. Why?
So we established the last time we did this through StreamYard, when the theme tune of the Sharpshooters play. You normally do a Batista, and you didn't do it this week. I was paying very close attention to you.
Manny, I'm sorry. Next week, I would definitely bring back the Batista fight. I mean, if you want to, for all shits and giggles, if you want to replay the intro, I could bring it out for you.
No, it's so long.
It's so long. You're have to edit it out with the audio.
No, it's funny when I was looking at that, I was like, oh man, this is going to be some dead silence right here. But oh well, it doesn't matter. It feels good to be back. We have so much to talk about. The week in professional wrestling, I guess it was, blown up because WWE did WWE things again, and they decided that they wanted to make money instead of paying people, and so
money.
This has been the 2021 has been the year of release for WWE, and they continued the trend with only a couple more months of 2021 to go, and released a lot of talent. Some notable names was Keith Lee, Mia Yim, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, Nia Jax, and one of our own personal favorites, someone who will be truly missed, someone that was a loyal person to the show but didn't know it. That was Catalina Garcia. Catalina Garcia will be missed, and it's a sad moment in time when she scraped on by, man, and she even put a very touching message on one of her platforms. Like, they gave a 19-year-old a chance, and I got to live my dream I was like, wow, this was a moment. Also, Frankie Monet got released.
I want to give her the 10-bell salute or the 10-gun salute for Catalina Garcia. Because the sad part about Catalina is that her visa's up, and then she's going to be sent back to Mexico.
Now, Marcus,
they did it dirty. Yeah. When the
releases were announced, Marcus, how did you feel? Like, did it catch you off guard?
Well, first I remember on the show we were waiting for the releases to happen while we were on the show. Like, come on, they said rumor releases. Come on, damn it, come on.
We are realistically we are horrible people.
Yeah, but if anybody in the media that is talking or podcasting or in the news or do Dark Side of the Ring episodes is hoping for bad news so they have something to talk about. Because good news ain't good. Bad news is where it's at. People want to hear the dirt. People want to hear the gossip. People want the hot takes. Nobody wanted to hear about Aaron Rodgers being vaccinated. We want to hear about him being immunized.
For the record, he is not vaccinated. He made that clear on Pat McAfee. He got advice from Joe Rogan.
Dr. Joe Rogan, attorney at law.
I love the debate on First Take when Stephen A got called out for his view, how he went so deep on Kyrie Irving, and then he was quite lax on Aaron Rodgers.
Man, it's a condition. It's a condition, man. It's a condition. Hey, your choice, your body. Do what you got to do.
But what sidetracked me to Rodgers? I forgot what we were saying.
Marcus, I don't know.
We were waiting for news to happen on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. And how... Well, when we were, we basically got half the names right. We were, as we were waiting, we were saying like, oh, it's probably Keith Lee and Mia Yim and who haven't we seen on TV in a while. And then every name I saw that list, I thought was somebody that I could see their releases. Even Jeep Rama, who was just on NXT this week, taking that L.
So, Manny, I turn to you. You were waiting for the releases, like Marcus said, when you guys were recording the show. Were you shocked that so many of WWE talent, mainly signed kind of by Triple H, was let go by WWE?
I wasn't shocked more than more. Well, why are they releasing these guys when they've just put a lot of work into them? Like, they've repackaged Karrion Kross about 3 times at that point. They're recently just working on the repackage of Keith Lee. So, like, I was more confused in the fact that they've released these guys, but they're putting time and effort. And it's much like how they did Aleister Black before they released him, where there was so much work going into that, and then they just released him.
But maybe, and I think this is something that we're not privy to. Maybe working with a Karrion Kross or a Keith Lee or something was a lot more difficult than what was worth the reward. I think we could all say that once Keith Lee got sick and he made his return, he wasn't the same Keith Lee that we saw in NXT.
He was a Bearcat.
Yeah.
That turned into a Bearcat. That's why he wasn't the same. He was angry.
So you saying, Marcus, if he was just Keith Lee and not Bearcat Lee, this would have never been an issue.
I would say if they weren't fucking with that man, maybe he'd still be around today. They were fucking with that man. And they were fucking with him. They were fucking with Cross. They were just fucking with people. But on a fair note about all these releases, yes, Keith Lee seems like whatever, him and Vince McMahon had some disconnect on what his character should be, or him and Karrion Kross, Vince McMahon and Karrion Kross had a disconnect with their character could be. They knew what they were getting in BFAB. They knew it. They offered her a contract a week before these releases. She signed that contract. They had already seen the NXT 2.0 match, which was absolute trash with Alexa Lopez. I don't understand how we got to the point where we need to release BFAB. That's the one I'm going like, this company has no idea who's going where and when are going where and why. It's just cuts at the cuts.
I mean, the justification of releasing BFAB was the fact that probably when they said we're going to call up Hit Row, someone had probably put in the margin like, oh, but not BFAB. She ain't ready. But then, unfortunately, everyone got called up and they signed everyone. I think for me, of all the releases that happened, the one that caught me off guard the most, and the one that wrestling fans have been clamoring for years, was Nia Jax. I don't understand what happened. I mean, she was on a mental health hiatus, according to her, and then she asked for more time. And at that point, they decided, you know what? You have hurt too many of our female superstars. You almost killed our golden child, Charlotte Flair. It's time for you to go. Manny, did Nia Jax release catch you off guard?
No, but the other thing that got released in terms of that news was apparently it was because of her vaccination status, which was nada.
No, she's been immunized.
And I think with WWE constantly now returning to like international circuit loops of actual like shows abroad, with there being so many restrictions in terms of travel, and you can't do this unless you're vaccinated. I think they probably took the hit and was like, do you know what? It's probably not worth keeping her around.
So, Marcus, was there anybody on the list that you were like, oh, I didn't expect that happening? Or was Nia Jax maybe that one surprise person for you also?
No, I could have saw all these people getting released. It seemed like everybody on this list. And I don't care what anybody says. None of these people were going anywhere in this company right now. If you look at this list, they were all doing nothing. They were all floundering. Nia Jax was hurting people and people hated her. Eva Marie was in this dewdrop thing and we have no idea what was that going or how, like once that ended, it was like, that's the end of her. Keith Lee was becoming a Bearcat. They were changing his theme music every week and all of this was going on. I was not shocked about any of these releases. Even Nia Jax.
Are you surprised that some people that are still there? Because I'm surprised that only Lorcan's partner is still on the roster.
I think Danny Burch is working I think he works as a trainer part-time. He looks like somebody that would be.
Yeah,
working part-time as a trainer.
I feel like he's like somebody that he knows something on Shawn Michaels or Triple H or something like that. I don't know. But it's just one of those things where it's like, there's some people like,
Drew
for
Gulak.
example, Chad Gable. Like, he made it. And it's like, you wouldn't think he would, but he did. But at the same time, him and Otis have done solid work in the WWE vein of things.
But you got Drew Gulak, who you thought wouldn't make it. Ricochet, who I saw on SmackDown this week, was like, oh shit, he made it. That was my reaction when Ricochet's music hit. Oh shit, I forgot he made it.
I was like, damn.
Let's also point out that one of the segments that he had at Ali, which we'll talk about later, I'm shocked that he made it also. I mean, it's very interesting what they did, but I came across an article as preparing for this show that was done by SportsIllustrated.com because, you know, people tend to want to hop on the bandwagon for WWE. The article was entitled that the releases in WWE show.
I hate me some entitled articles.
They show there's a disconnect with the fan base. My question for you is, I read the article. It was really just a filler. It was more of a headline than anything that they said. Do you think that these releases, Manny, really show that WWE is not connected with their fan base?
Doesn't matter about the fan base. They cheer and boo whoever you put in front of them. Doesn't matter about the fan base. Like if you take about sports, if they were to cut, what's what's that, Matt White from the Jets today, or Matt, whatever his name, Mike White tomorrow, I wouldn't care. Like, they're there to do a job. End of the day, it's not who I feel like. If I wanted to cheer Walter every day, I'd go find where Walter is. It's not a thing of I like Mandy Rose and you need to put her on TV all the time. No, it's not a question of that. It's you cheer whoever you want. You cheer whoever they put in front of you. It's their company to do whatever they want.
Now, Marcus, do you agree with what Manny said, or do you disagree that WWE is not connected with their fan base?
Oh, I definitely don't think WWE is connecting with their fan base right now. I think that's the whole thing, is that the outside of WWE is that it's just a negative perception about being there, as opposed to, AEW that has all these positive headlines and all this. WWE is releasing people every 6 months in budget cuts. And I can see how the average man and woman can relate to, like, damn, people are just losing their job left and right. I'm losing my job left and right due to this whole pandemic era. And WWE does not seem like the positive place to be at this current moment. It just seems like they have this negativity swarming on it that they can just build around anything. However, do I think they're justified in releasing these people? Yes. If you're not going to use these people, don't keep them. They've cut like 70 or 80 people in the past 2 years. It still looks like they have like 9,000 people on their roster who can be still cut, like that they're not using or using properly. So I feel like I would rather be in the WWE position and trimming the fat. And whatever you say, who got released or when, just trimming the fat and let me focus on the talent who I actually like, instead of trying to shoehorn people who I don't like onto a show. Like, don't let me force a Keith Lee push if I don't like Keith Lee. Not me, I'm talking about the company themselves. Don't make me force Karrion Kross if I don't like that guy in the ring or as a person or whatever the case may be. So they need to just hold on who they want to push, when they want to do it, because I think that they're in the business of, we only want to create megastars, and who they release, I don't feel like whereas anybody in this current batch could be a megastar.
Allow me to be devil's advocate, or better yet, WWE's advocate, when I would say that I don't think I don't think they have a disconnect from the fan base, because I think the majority of the people that were released were from NXT that were called up and was not successful in the main roster. And we have numbers and stats showing that no one cared about the NXT product but a few vocal minority fans who probably champion the internet more than anything, that will complain about these people being released. They complained about what they did to Keith Lee with him becoming Bearcat. Now he's free to go be Keith Lee someplace else. They cared about Karrion Kross and his mask. And I really hate the fact that my heart attack prevented me from being able to talk about Karrion Kross's mask this whole period.
Damn, you missed all of that.
I missed all of Karrion Kross and his mask.
Yeah.
And I'm so disappointed. I would also point out, Marcus, I also missed the chance to bask in Eva Marie and talk about her return, because her return lasted my hiatus. I was robbed for these things.
No. You were there at the beginning and the end.
Was
you
I?
were at SummerSlam. That was the end.
That was the end? Okay,
yeah.
Maybe. But at the end, like, I think these people have a chance to go place. And I think the problem where people talk about being connected to the fan base, it comes from one company, and that's AEW, because Tony Khan continues to put out there that their show is for the fans. And I argue creating a show for the fans instead of running a business is a mistake.
I disagree with you on that. You can do both. You can do both. You can do both. You can be McDonald's and also turn out the McRib every now and then and have a good meal.
Marcus,
you don't have to just be evil. You don't have to always be evil.
I'm not saying being it, but the way that Tony Khan puts it out there, he puts it out there that 100% of his decisions are made because of fans' response. And I don't think that's a proper way to do it. I think you have to weigh every factor to make a conscious decision. I think you do not pay people that you're not going to use. I mean, WWE in their quarter reports, they made $256 million. Me being a WWE stockholder, I'm happy that the stock went up personally. And I don't think any of these people...
got stock in them. You got stock in WWE? You got stock. I knew it. So much. So much.
So much.
Come on, man. I got stock in a lot of stuff. But now the question, 2021, the year of release in WWE. My question for you, Marcus, I go to you first this time. Has anyone who has been released by WWE made WWE regret releasing them?
Are you talking about contracts being expired?
Like,
Or
no,
just
I'm
release?
talking about releases. Like, I'm not talking about like, oh, you just didn't decide to re-sign with WWE. Like, we're not talking about Bryan Danielson here who just walked away. We're talking about people who didn't expect being let go that was let go. Has any of these releases come back and say, you know what? Damn, we made a mistake. We should have never released that person.
I'm going to be honest. No, neither one of them has come back to haunt them. Even though I enjoy the new Miro, God's Forbidden Champion or Forsaken Champion. And I enjoy him as being my number 2, if not number 1 favorite character in all of wrestling today. But no, I don't believe any of these people that they did cut actually have hurt them financially, as it shows in both AEW and Impact's ratings that they haven't really moved the needle or hurt them. It's just more perception that they got rid of people.
Manny, what about you? Do you think, does WWE regret letting go anybody that they let go so far?
I don't think so, but I don't think anyone's really put in any work with any of them other than Miro. Maybe the Iconics, maybe, but I don't think they were ever going to use them in the sense of being tag team wrestlers. Because who's the women's tag team champions at the moment? I can't even remember.
It is the superheroes, Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash.
I'm surprised both of them didn't get released.
I'm not surprised. I think there are 2 people who have done exactly what Vince McMahon has wanted them to do. No matter what he said, they are doing it. Even though they probably are happy, they are doing it.
But the problem is not Vince McMahon. The problem is Nick. Sorry, I've got stuff in my mouth.
Yeah, because I was about to ask you a
Thanks,
question.
Betty, for doing the show. Thanks for deciding to say it's snack time.
Hey, Marcus, he decided. Marcus, he's paying homage. He's paying homage to me being back on the show because we all know that I'm a notorious eater on the show. However, the only thing I have to snack on right now is banana, and I'm not going to pull a Marcus and eat a banana on screen. I'm okay with that.
I still forgot that I ate a banana on screen.
You also said you were going to do it seductively as I
You
left
did.
the room.
You did. Like that's the worst part about it. Manny, do you have a point or should I ask you the question?
Ask me the question. Go on.
Okay. My question for you: of all the releases WWE has done in 2021, who are you most upset about being released by WWE that you wish they were still with WWE? Marcus knows my answer, and I will say that for last.
See, for me, I want to go back to saying Billie Kay deserves better. She's now dead. She's now whatever Jessica McKay or whatever nonsense that is.
Hey, man, she came out with some fire pictures on her Instagram.
That inspiration.
They dropped tracks and everything, man. It looks like they're doing better.
I would hope they would still be in WWE, but I think the one that I would clamoring for would probably be Keith Lee because we know what he could do.
Okay. Marcus, what about yourself?
Well, since he's going Keith Lee in that regard, I am going with one of the more recent releases. Even though I do enjoy me some Iconics and don't believe that they should have been released under any circumstance, and I believe they could have did something with them, and they should have never broke them up. I blame you, Peyton Royce, a.k.a. Cassie Lee. I blame you for the Iconics no longer being employed. I blame you. Oh.
It's all Sean Spears' fault.
Oh, I blame him too. It's just in people's head. Just bzz. But I will say that the main person, I still would go with Rusev. Miro should still be in the WWE.
That was a 2020 release.
Yeah, but I think he's combining all releases.
I wanted 2021, Marcus, but you know.
Oh, fine. I don't remember who got released this. Yeah, but there's so many people from the past 2 years. I don't know who was released this year or last year. Fine, goddammit. I will pick Catalina Garcia.
So I hope that the fact checker Betty doesn't check me because I have already told Marcus who I'm more upset about, And and I'm still pissed to this day about this. And I, as I think about it, because I consider him a role model, I figured that I aspire to be someone just as grand as he is when I do the show. And the fact when they released Tom fucking Phillips pissed me off. Tom Phillips had no reason to be. He was released and then replaced with one of the worst individuals ever to do the game that he didn't even last 1 week. Jimmy Smith is fine, but he is not Tom Phillips. Shout out to Tom Phillips.
Adon Burke.
Yeah, Adon Burke or something like that.
Terrible.
He was awful.
He lasted like those 3 weeks. It was like, what is this?
And I still, it never made any sense. What did Tom Phillips do?
He got Samoa Joe fired too.
Huh?
They got Samoa Joe fired over that shit. All for Adon Burke.
Yeah, but Samoa Joe came back and bounced back. So the last question I have when it comes to dealing with the releases of WWE, and I hope that you guys can chime in about what we said in the comments and emails at thesharpshooters@gmail.com. Join the conversation because I think we should really talk about this because it's actually very interesting. But the last question...
What about Ember Moon?
Come on, man. Like, bro, like...
I just wanted to throw it out there because there has been so much talk on this show alone about is Ember Moon good or is Ember Moon bad, and how many times you just failed to bring her up as being one of the top 10 releases.
Thing is, this was just a me thing at the beginning, but then Eric jumped on board, and then it became a whole Eric of hate thing.
Marcus, I'm confident to say that nobody who listens to this show, maybe nobody cares about Ember Moon. Like, it's just...
What the fuck?
It's one of those things that if she went to AEW, I don't even know if she would be the best wrestler on that roster. That's the worst part about it. Like, when I think about the female talent that's released, I would probably sign Mia Yim, Scarlett, and probably Frankie Monet before I even thought about signing Ember Moon. Like,
I would sign Monet before any the ones.
And Monet had a
Scarlett is just a thirst trap.
Yeah, I mean, she was bragging about that how she already got a magazine cover, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I really was shocked about Frankie Monet, but what can you say?
I mean, that's John Morris's wife. Apparently,
you don't think John Morrison could have been on that list as well?
He could have been on that list too, but they have to pay off the feud between him and Miz. That's since Miz has been eliminated from Dancing with the Stars. Marcus, although you try to derail my question by bringing up Ember Moon to the next to me,
I felt like I had to throw it out there. I had to throw her out there,
which even makes Shotzi's promo even so much better. Marcus, my question for you: why was there so much outrage with WWE for releasing their 17 wrestlers, but Ring of Honor shutting down, just like said, "Hey, we're not going to honor any of these contracts"?
Oh, that's a big difference. It's a big difference.
How come?
No, Ring of Honor's paying people up until the end of the year, until they, if they're under contract. But if your contract was up at the end of the year, you're done until April. The difference is Ring of Honor is small potatoes, Eric. Those people aren't getting paid shit. And they have given them free will to not only not do a 90-day no-compete clause, you can go wherever the hell you want to go right now. And they're not shut down forever. It's just shut down to April. Maybe they'll come back. It's a difference. There's a difference.
I know, because Ring of Honor...
WWE is a brand, and they didn't go out and say, hey, guess what I did last year? I made $256 million. That's probably everybody the next day. They didn't do that.
They made it in a quarter, Marcus, in a 4-month span.
I know what I mean.
But,
I know.
I'm going to push back with that, Marcus, because I felt like Ring of Honor thing is like, yeah, we're going to let you guys go work with the hope that someone else signs you so we don't have to pay for you anymore.
But Ring of Honor was already almost dead.
That is true.
Like, no one, of all the wrestling promotions, they had the least momentum of any wrestling promotion that's been going around in the past 20 years. They were behind Impact, they were behind GCW and probably MLW, New Japan, and AEW. They have no momentum. They have not invited in the Forbidden Door. They have nothing going on for them. They were just existing in their own realm. And Marcus, yes, maybe they were putting on good matches and people who would respond that watch Ring of Honor, but they had no momentum.
Manny, as I see,
Why did I get full screen?
I see because you was on a rant, Marcus.
A late rant.
It seems like my question created more outrage with Marcus, but do you know why Ring of Honor took less flack than WWE?
Because Ring of Honor is actually dead. Dave, as Marcus has already said, but because Dave Meltzer killed it. He dared Cody, and then Cody made AEW. Dave Meltzer killed
I guess I have a thought. If WWE would have took that $256 million they made in the quarter and bought Ring of Honor, do you think the wrestling universe would have been ecstatic with that purchase?
No.
They would have hated. Because is it safe to say, no matter what WWE could probably find the cure for cancer, but people will still be upset with WWE, correct? Is that safe? Yeah,
because they're going to overcharge people for the cure. You have to get a Peacock subscription to get the cure, and I don't want that.
They were upset when WWE purchased Evolve prior to that, so of course I'd be upset if they purchased Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and then I would find no reason why WWE would purchase Ring of Honor since all the people that they had from Ring of Honor has all moved on to the AEW. Like, that library right now is only important to Tony Khan AEW since they do have the Ring of Honor 2003 All-Star team.
Well, it is now time. With all the talk, Manny, can you cue up the camera?
Wait. Why are we there? We're not even talking about SmackDown yet.
Me and Manny already talked. You should have been on time for the show.
No, I was here. You said you were going to talk about it right before Rampage.
When all the talk is done,
what?
It is now time for the main event. We're going to talk about Rampage.
Wait, we're starting with Rampage?
Yes, we're starting with Rampage, Marcus.
Not SmackDown.
Not SmackDown, Marcus. No, we're
starting not any other wrestling in the week.
No, Marcus, if you was here.
The Sunday night heat of wrestling.
Marcus.
The velocity of wrestling is what we're talking about.
If you were here for the production. If you were here for the production,
Boa is disappointed.
You would know what we were doing. But Marcus, just go with the flow, baby. Just go with the flow, baby.
You know, these production meetings normally have conversations about 90% of the stuff that we're not going to talk about.
What? That's what me and Manny did. You came in on the post-production cover when we started talking about iPhones. That's what you showed.
Let me wake up, okay? Allow me to wake up.
Because I had showed Manny all my notes and stuff and things like that of the format I had and the foundation of trying to get out of here in a timely manner and stuff like that.
There is no evidence that was notes or you timely manner. That could just be random papers from anywhere different. That could be a goddamn grocery list.
Or it could be the plans to make a goddamn Gatling gun, man. That's what it could be.
It could be Rampage, the card to WBF.
The spoiler alert for the WBA with the spoiler of the B from Cheerios losing to the Honey Monster, losing the name for Honey, and he is only now known. He is now going to go into retirement, and Cheerios brand is only Cheerios, Cinnamon Cheerios, Christmas Cheerios. Honey Nut has been banished from the WBF.
So, Bryan Danielson defeated Anthony Bowens in an impromptu, unannounced match on Rampage. Arguably, Anthony Bowens' best match as a single competitor.
Arguably.
It is.
Who's going to argue and say, nah, son, there was a match 5 years ago?
I believe you're also stealing my gimmick of saying this was this person's best match.
With that being said, it shows that Bryan Danielson can do no wrong with whoever he wrestles. He instantly makes better. However, I must say the Acclaim falls into that category of the colognes for Marcus. I just don't like these guys. I don't like the Acclaim. I can't stand that little guy, the little rapper. His line about John Laurinaitis.
That was so funny.
That was good.
It was.
His lines were clever. How he got there because nothing rhymes with Laurinaitis.
The clock is a broke clock is right twice a day. And yes, I give him credit. It was clever, but I hate his corny raps. Overall, Manny, how did you feel about this opening match to Rampage?
I mean, it was a good match, but it was kind of just there. I mean, I watched this directly after the killing of the king.
What about you, Marcus? I know you love you some Bryan Danielson, and this was, I guess, they tried to tout this as a tune-up match for his match against Miro at Full Gear. Do you think this was a proper tune-up match for him?
I don't know how this properly prepares him against Miro, who's a
Me
monster,
either.
as opposed to Bowen, who just carries a boombox from 1995 that plays CDs and shit. Oh, I thought it was a solid match, but it's just like every match on Rampage, or most of the matches on Dynamite. This is a match to have a match for the sake of a match. It didn't seem like it. We could have had Miro at least looking on via satellite, or standing on the ramp, or doing commentary, or adding to the feud, or talking shit somewhere, just to say this is a part of this story. Not this is Bryan Danielson's. This is what I can't wait to do catalog. Like, this is like he's literally a kid in a candy store sampling all the fucking candy.
I agree with that because Danielson was out there for Miro's match against Orange Cassidy on Dynamite, so it would have made sense for Miro to come out and scout Danielson.
But maybe AEW
don't even try. Just say the name that comes natural.
But maybe AEW didn't want to try to duplicate their storytelling, because they did that later on in the women's tournament match when Jay Cargill was watching Red Velvet against the Bunny.
There's an attack after every match and a run-in save after every match. What do you mean they care about duplication?
Marcus, I highly doubt that AEW cares about telling stories, because most of their matches have no story behind them. And it's like, we go after this match between Bryan Danielson and Anthony Bowens, we go to one of the most random backstage segments that I have ever experienced. And that is when we have Andrade, MJF, and FTR. And it appears that Andrade has purchased the services for FTR for 2 weeks. And the next thing you know, Dax decides to cut a promo on Pac, who has been shoehorned into this again, where it's like, this is like the Lucha Brothers. And the next thing you know, let's bring in Pac. Death Triangle is not a thing. They need to stop trying to make it a thing. And like, it bothers me. Manny, how did you feel about this whole backstage segment with FTR and MJF?
So this has actually happened before, where Andrade had paid MJF for the services of FTR when they won the AAA tag team titles. So there was that whole backstage segment, and then they did it again, and it just feels like they're shoehorning things in when it's really forced and you don't need to see it. And I hate when it happens in WWE, even more so when it happens in AEW, because in AEW you can tell it's not working, and you know it's not working.
You know what I think? For it to happen. You know why I think I'm harder on AEW? It's because I think so little of WWE sometimes. It's like, this is what you do. And AEW is the promised land, supposed to be the better place. And then they shoehorn shit like this. And it's like, oh, there's Pac. MJF is here for. I just feel like this makes no sense of why they're all working together. And just put them on the Pinnacle. Just say you guys are part of the Pinnacle.
I think the reason why you could be critical of AEW is just for the simple reason that everybody keeps telling you how great AEW is, and quite frankly, it's not, because one of the most glaring things to me about this entire segment is MJF. MJF is in a feud with Darby Allin, which is whatever they want to make that be, but you can argue and say that MJF has a better record than Bryan Danielson, and it made absolutely no sense why he wasn't in the tournament in the first place. I mean, and then let's be quite honest. The only reason why we're getting Miro versus Bryan Danielson is because Mox decided to go and get treatment for his, hope he gets better. I mean, like it just. You
almost made that sound like it was a horrible thing he was doing.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. He's like, what do you mean he's in there? It's because Mox wanted to go to his little treatment. He wanted to go look. And he's gonna go. He wanted to go his little. Yeah, he wanted to go fix himself. How dare he?
It messed up the brackets. It messed up my bracketology, man. I had Mox going over Bryan Danielson. And God damn it, now I'm gonna lose money over that. That's what happened, man. But we wish him a speedy recovery.
You sounded like the white man in the Hunger Games behind the mask. Talking about this piece of shit. What are you just?
I spent $3 million on him.
You just hung yourself.
It just frustrates me so much when I watch AEW because I just feel like some of their younger stars just stay in the same spot in the same circle. It's like let's bring Pac back. It's like when are we gonna see MJF or even Darby Allin who did that interview where he talked about how much he loved the TNT title, like, and now you have that TNT title involved in a feud with Jericho and the America Top Team and stuff like that.
They kind of just removed that from the picture. Like it was like, oh, this TNT title has momentum. Let's get this out of here. Let's put it on Sammy Guevara, and now they're in some gang warfare within the circle again.
And honestly, and I'm gonna say this right now because I didn't get to say this, and
you don't have to say it honestly.
That segment on Dynamite between American Top Team and the Inner Circle might have been the worst segment I've ever had to sit through in my entire life.
Worse than Bailey, This Is Your Life, because that was the worst segment till then.
Touche, Manny, touche. But worst AEW segment I've seen in a long time.
Well, I'm sure it's worse. I'm sure.
But can we have a positive? Can we have a positive?
I was saying that Johnny Hungy on Dynamite this week was even worse because he was just out there rambling about shit. I have no idea who he was talking about.
Yeah, but at least that went on for like 2 minutes.
I feel like that went on for 2 hours.
That Jericho segment felt like the entire episode of Dynamite.
I feel like Moses completed the desert walk before that segment ended.
The worst part, it just seemed like it was Tony Khan scratching Jericho back. Like, we're going to give you something relevant to do because we don't want you in the title picture. So you get to go wrestle our celebrities that we have brought in that I don't think many people care about. But I could just be in a minority. However, something that I can say that I liked, I wish I could say I loved it, but I liked it, was the segment between Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. And the main reason why I enjoyed this segment, it's all because of Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is amazing on the microphone. The storyline that they tried to shoehorn with, I guess,
making it up in the
Punk
ring.
and Samoa Joe and them abusing him back in the day and not respecting him. I mean, it was a...
Don't forget Amazing Red. Don't forget Amazing Red. A name I ain't heard in years.
Amazing Red.
But they tried to make it seem something of relevance. I think the worst thing about this match going forward is that we've already seen Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson, and I think that might be the best match we're going to get out of Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk, the match doesn't really do it for me, but I think worse yet, Punk didn't deliver on the microphone. I thought this was a point where he could really be very good with giving a promo, but it just seems like old man Punk, and I wish he didn't come back. How did you feel about the segment, Marcus, between Eddie Kingston and CM Punk?
Well, I just feel like they were making up, like the segment just seemed like it was a workshop or brainstorming of what we could feud about in the middle of the ring on live television. Because they come out and CM Punk is like, I'm here to get an apology, and Eddie Kingston calls about his bullshit. Who the fuck are you to get an apology? Like some 70-year-old man who I just disrespect. Get up. And then they were arguing back and forth, and then somehow they pivot on, remember when that time in Ring of Honor when you just kicked me down or something? It was like, yeah, let's try to do this story. And I wasn't feeling it. I just feel like it was weak. And that they don't really have a proper story. That it's one of those NXT, I'm in the parking lot, you close the door in front of me kind of storylines. And I think Punk should be above that. He should be in a storyline in the caliber of Edge and Rollins, in which people are going to his house and tampering with his life that he has, that he's enjoying. That, you know, it just didn't seem like he was there. I don't know what it was. Like, Punk me and mad that he's like, oh, you can go quit for 7 years after I kick your ass. And it's like, oh, that's it. That's the line that made me mad. But, yeah, to me, it just doesn't click. And I also want to agree that it might be Punk. You don't have to talk to him. You don't have to talk to Ryan.
I'll call you back.
You didn't have to pick that up.
Well, I thought it was going to pick up in my roadcaster, but it didn't because it's not synced anymore. Manny, overall, Marcus gave his take on the segment. What about you? Old man Punk, Eddie Kingston. Seems like Eddie Kingston is the natural stepping stone now for AEW. Like, you have to feud with Eddie Kingston to get to the next level, which is before Jungle Boy make a save for you.
I enjoyed it, but like I guess from all of it, I think it's difficult because it's such a quick feud, and then because Full Gear's next weekend, so it's like it's very rushed, much like what I believe the build to Survivor Series is going to be, because there is none at the moment.
But like, And I know this is where my WWE bias comes in, and we'll talk more about that on SmackDown because I didn't expect this to happen in 2021. To be quite honest, I really didn't think this was going to be a thing. But overall, I think the Kingston Punk thing might have been the only thing that they were really did successfully try to tell a story in their own kind of way, because the next segment that followed that was a match that I don't think anybody ever said, you know what?
No, wait, Eric. You went from that animosity that going on in there brawling to you go back to a video. You go back to a backstage segment with the Jungle Friends.
Yeah.
And that was a complete like change of like energy where that segment between Punk and Kingston should have ended Rampage rather than me watching this nonsense of transition into this.
As I told Marcus, because you know what, I totally forgot about Jungle Boy making that save. As I told Marcus, I said this would have been so much more appropriate if they just would have went to commercial break, and then you came back from the commercial break with the Jungle Friends being there talking, and then that would have led into the match between Red Velvet and the Bunny. Like the whole pacing of the show. I forgot
about that match.
The whole pacing of the show made absolutely no sense because like you have this hot segment and it's a hot segment. The crowd was going crazy. They were eating it up. And then you go back to the Jungle Friends who are literally talking gibberish. Like, I don't care what they were talking about. Like, it just didn't make any sense. Manny, do you remember what they were talking about? Because I don't.
The only thing I remember they challenged the Super Click to a match at All Gear.
Yeah, that's not gonna put my ass in the seat. I feel like I got that in 7 different variations already.
You have. That's the
Why
problem.
would I need to see that?
And
in the chat,
then you get people talking about, all WWE do is rematches. The AEW are becoming like that now. Don't you worry.
So J.K. Smush said, and I realized you guys started this last week. He said, "Good morning / evening, Eric. What a thrill to have you back. And when I have thrill run through my bones, I get the urge to say, fuck the Hulk Hogan, brother."
The Hulk Hogan.
And you know what? And as everyone said, this is National Fuck Hulk Hogan season. I forgot what you guys call it. It's the season. It's the season of Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
It encompasses all our birthdays. It starts at Marcus's birthday, ends on my birthday, so it includes your birthday, and there's just this tiny period where people can appreciate him.
The off season. Somewhere around and after WrestleMania, you can go and say, "Hey, Hulk Hogan ain't that bad," and then it's back on again.
They've got like a 2-month period between August and Marcus's birthday.
So Manny, I was on the phone with Marcus, and we had just got finished seeing Anthony Bowens lose his match. And I told Marcus, I said, it would be a tragedy, but I would laugh so much if Red Velvet lost to the Bunny because they had to keep the narrative going that if you're black, you can't win. Unfortunately, because
the only narrative in AEW.
Red Velvet is of Latin descent. She won and she defeated the Bunny, but it had a lot of outside the ring antics with Jade Cargill, and I don't even think the hardest AEW fan
did it.
Yeah, I don't think the hardest.
I think they just cut the Jade Cargill in the crowd. She didn't really do anything.
Weren't they arguing with each other? I remember them arguing.
They argued, and that allowed the Bunny to stomp Red Velvet onto the ring step, which I thought would have been a DQ if the referee was paying attention.
Yeah.
No, I saw the trash move.
I just think, Marcus, the worst trash move took place on SmackDown. Or was it SmackDown with that stair thing? I forgot when that stair move happened. I don't know.
That was Rampage. That was Red Velvet and the Bunny.
Oh, shit. That was the worst move I've ever. You're right, Marcus. But the thing about it, I don't think anybody wants to see Red Velvet face off against Jade Cargill. In the mid-card mess, they announced that this would just be a botch match. And I say you might as well just add Nia Jax to it so it could be a triple botch match. And I just don't think I want this match, especially for the TBS title. Marcus, I turn to you. Velvet.
It's just a match in the tournament. It's not the actual finals of this tournament.
Oh, it's not?
No.
I actually thought Red Velvet was improving until she did stuff where she missed that standing moonsault and then nearly died.
Manny, let's be honest.
She's trash. She's trash.
Red Velvet is only she's worse than Brandy Rhodes, and that's saying a lot.
That's not true.
That's not
true at all. That's not true.
I think it is.
How dare you? That is disrespectful. I was just saying in the middle of this match, I really hope they sign Ember Moon to replace this.
Ember Moon is better than both of them. I'll put it that way.
Shit.
Ember Moon is an upgrade.
Yeah, it is
Not
a complete
a big upgrade, but considering their
women's
women's
roster. It is a big upgrade.
Considering their women's roster.
No, Ember Moon is like going from a iPhone 12 to a iPhone 13. Not much of a big upgrade. It's an upgrade nonetheless.
The disrespect is unnecessary. I feel Red Velvet is like an iPhone 8, okay?
Betty,
He's an iPhone 8.
It's like moving from an M1 chip just to an M1 Pro. It's not much of an upgrade. I mean, if you have an M1 chip, it's not like jumping from Intel to M1.
I'm not gonna allow this shit to happen.
Although
Ember Moon is a credible wrestler. Is she the best? No, but she'll whoop Naomi's ass.
I'm sorry, but if she's allowing her husband to walk around as the king of black women, she's a terrible person.
Yeah. I mean, and she seems like she would fit right into the AEW narrative to keep the black man down. With that being said, Manny, do you have any comments on Red Velvet versus the Bunny, or do you want to go first and we talk about this main event, which was...
Let's just get into the main event.
The main event.
This match, for me personally, was not a bad match. It actually was a good match. However... You left WWE for this, Adam Cole. John Silver took you to the limit, man. It had to take outside distractions and interference for you to win this match. It bothered me a lot that he struggled this much with John Silver.
Manny, Are you surprised? This man was taken to the limit by Carmelo Hayes as well before he left in NXT.
man, I told
he's
Marcus
he's a hate champion now.
I told Marcus on the phone last night, Melo, don't miss. Melo and Trick is probably my favorite thing about 2.0.
Trick always misses. Did you see those uppercuts?
I saw the Trick. No, my favorite thing that Trick did was when he was talking shit before he got punched. When he did that little spin kick to Ciampa, I was like, that ain't doing nothing to nobody. It was just.
Well, the stereotype with this match. I'll tell you why I hate it.
I asked Manny first, but I guess you just jump in.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, Marcus.
No. I insist.
No, Marcus. We insist. The floor is yours, sir. The floor is yours.
I don't want this full screen shit. I don't want this full screen. Just like I don't want Adam Cole and John Silver. It just seems like that was like watching a comedy act of Reginald versus the tribal chief Roman Reigns, or not even the tribal chief. Let's go with Kofi Kingston, someone that's right at the top but not really a top guy. It was like, and then watching them struggle, and then the fact that Adam Cole is just 2 days removed from a concerto that he is not selling. He should be out for weeks. He should be out for at least a week or two. That they said the concerto doesn't matter. Now I'm so sick of them having moves in this company that don't actually matter. Whether it's the Canadian Destroyer or if it's the concerto, these are things that should take people out. Why is Adam Cole able to be like, that was just an attack from Jungle Friends. I had a little minor seizure. I'm okay to fight John Silver this week and get pushed to the limit. None of this makes sense. And I feel like they devalued Adam Cole so much on this show. He was the leader of the Undisputed Era, the greatest champion in NXT history, and this is what he did. So if I'm one of these released NXT talents, I would have been, for the record, a little weary of coming to this company, as they are not treating them with the respect that they deserve.
Well, Marcus, Manny, can we have the three-man camp? Marcus, I have to push back with you because I think he chose to do this. I mean, like, you say that he's being treated like a comedy act with John Silver. His spot that he does week in and week out is he get kissed on the cheek by the Young Bucks. I mean, I think this is what they want to do. I think the overall problem with AEW, in my opinion, and it's my opinion on, so if you dislike anything, just dislike me in the comments, but not on the whole thing, is the fact that...
No, go ahead. Dislike this video.
AEW still acts like it's an indie show. It acts like it's not on national TV. They act like each show doesn't matter what happens on the previous show, that someone didn't watch it. It's like if you went to an indie show in Carson, California, it's a possibility if you took that same indie show a couple of days later up to Sacramento, they don't know what happened at that show. They don't know that, hey, guess what? 800,000 people watched the show last week, or they watched Wednesday night and they saw Adam Cole get hit with a concerto. He shouldn't be okay for Rampage. He just shouldn't be. But they don't have that mentality. Manny, do you have the same critical assessment that Marcus had at the main event?
I didn't hate it as much as he did, but I actually thought it was actually a really good match. But then again, you got to realize that he's fighting someone in the Dark Order, which he shouldn't have been taken that far in it. He should have finished this with ease. And I don't like what Adam Cole's become. He's become a side piece to the Elite, where he should be treated as what like a crown jewel of that company, and he's not.
It's like honestly, it's like Thanksgiving dinner. Like, you know, Omega's the turkey, right? Then they got
Jive turkey.
They got the Young Bucks maybe as the dressing or the stuffing. That's where they're at. And Adam
Someone's
Cole,
stuffing something.
you know, and I'm gonna go White Thanksgiving. So Adam Cole should be the mashed potatoes. It should be that main side dish that you get right there. But instead, he's a side to the side. He's cranberry sauce. That's what he is. And it's like,
what are Young Bucks in this?
They're the dressing. Yeah, it makes sense.
They're dressing. And so
okay.
Yeah, it's just like he should be.
You really took time on this one.
Marius, no, this has popped up in my head, man, because you know I know food, man. I know food. Well,
Manny would have called Adam Cole the gravy.
No. I appreciate
Marcus,
gravy
no.
far too much to be calling him the gravy.
No, Marcus, no. He gravy is sacred. Like, you know how the ring is sacred? You know how the ring is sacred to Walter? Gravy is sacred to Manny. I'm not going to disrespect gravy that way. Shit. Manny
gravy is sacred.
Gravy is sacred. God damn right. But I'm going to say, John Silver, although weird looking and booked as a comedy, he's actually very good in the ring. I thought overall the match was fine, but at the same time, in the grand scheme of things, Adam Cole shouldn't struggle this much. And then I don't understand why we have to have all the outside interference.
I don't mind outside interference in any match. I'm not going to sit here and circumcise the mosquito of outside interference. I'm upset with the lack of storytelling and development of certain characters. Adam Cole, as I feared, when he originally was going to go to AEW, I said he's just going to just be another one of the guys, has just become another one of the guys. And when he made his debut at All Out, and they gave him that big reaction, and, you know, here for the boom, and, you know, the intro, and, you know, everything happened, then right out, he was undercut right away by Bryan Danielson coming out right after. And it seemed like, of all the signings they've had, whether it's CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Ruby Soho, and Adam Cole has suffered the most. He's done nothing. He just gets 2 minutes of promo time, but it's mostly the Bucks time. He's not really doing it. Now he's going to be at Full Gear in a 6-man tag. That's a joke. That's a Dynamite match at best that he's involved in.
It's a Dynamite and a Rampage match that's already happened.
He should be competing at Full Gear. Maybe either he should be in this tournament. He should be fighting Sammy Guevara for a TNT title shot. Or just involved in a feud with one of their 900 other rando wrestlers. I am so sick of the Dark Order that they keep having these close matches. That Alan Angels went to push Kenny Omega to the limit this week. Like, I'm so confused on what they're trying to do with their talent. They need to have a layer to this. There's levels to this. And everybody seems to be on the same level. How is anybody, I perceive anybody as a star if everybody is on the same even kill level?
So, Marcus, let me ask this question. Do you think
there has to be the Jets and there has to be the Packers? That's all I'm saying.
Hey.
At least Manny's quarterback doesn't lie about shit. With that being said,
he never lied. He said he was immunized. He never said why or what he used. No one gave him a follow-up question. That is on the reporters for not following up and just trusting the white man.
I mean, anyone could be immunized. He didn't specify what he was immunized with.
No one asked. No one asked him.
So
he just said it, and no one gave him a follow-up question. What did you use?
He deserves to be suspended. And fuck your season.
Said, I'm going to go to the chat. He says, watching Trick reminds me of a young Velveteen Dream. All that potential that went nowhere. I mean, I don't even think Trick.
Velveteen was established and better than Trick.
He was actually a solid wrestler.
What I'm going to say right now is probably the most accurate thing I'm going to say. Trick is the male version of B-Fab. He ain't ready for the ring, but he got the look. He got like he looked like he could be something, but he ain't ready. Like
he's T-Fab.
Like it's like you really wish that, because I like Mello. I think Mello is like it's something about Mello I like. But if he was just a little bit taller, he would be a little. If he had Trick's height, he would be better. If you could
do you like that he's very soft spoken? Because when I shoot, I don't miss.
Well,
I sound like a little bitch.
He reminded me if Terrence Howard was a wrestler.
The worst part, he's not.
Wrestled for years.
Technically, what Mello is doing is what Montez's gimmick should be if he ever breaks away from Dawkins. With the backhand and everything.
Well, the thing is, Montez is these two guys combined.
He is.
Like, he has the charisma of Trick and the athletic and wrestling ability of Mello.
Trick isn't charismatic.
No, Trick is a bitch.
Trick handles himself very well on the microphone, at least.
But he a bitch, and that's the thing. He is. It's one of those things that in all the stereotype hood movies, the lead guy always has that bitch that he supposed to be tough, but at the end of the day, he really a bitch. When he told him a week ago, hey, I could just buy you a new title. Like, really?
It wasn't a new title, it was a replica, which is worse.
Yeah.
but Mello but I want my plates, man. I want my plates.
I'll buy them too.
So let's go to the meat and potatoes. As Manny put in the tagline of the show, the Bloodline dismantles the kingdom.
I'm actually shocked that you didn't use your quote from last night's conversation. You were saying if Adam Cole would have stayed in AEW, if he would have stayed there, to both him and Keith Lee would have had a job today as his manager and protege. That's the real Keith Lee.
It's a possibility. But before we even start talking about SmackDown, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If someone told me that 2021 would be the year of Xavier Woods, I'd be like, you're smoking crack. But I think arguably that he should be nominated.
Maybe I am.
For the most improved.
You were talking to John Moxley.
For 2021. I think that, you know how when you have Kings of the Rings and you have some kings that are good, such as King Booker, then you have some kings that are bad, like King Corbin. I have a feeling.
I know you disrespect your boy like that.
Yeah. What about King Mabel, huh?
Right now,
King Billy Gunn.
Right now, me and Baron are having problems.
Ooh,
we're having problems. I do not like Happy Corbin at all. But
I miss bum ass Baron Corbin, to be honest.
Going back to it though, Marcus, did you see Xavier Woods, or do you agree? Is he probably the most improved wrestler of 2021?
I guess you could give him that award for all the matches he's had this year and all the caliber of talents and main events he's put on. But I don't want to use the term improve. I think he's always had this ability to wrestle, but he would be most shocking. Breakthrough kind of act.
Improve might be harsh,
I don't know.
Let's be honest, and Manny, because you were shaking your head, we all agree when it came to the New Day, nobody thought Woods would amount to anything except for probably being one of the names being released in 2021.
Am I correct? I didn't think that.
Yeah, that's harsh. No, no. He's a main guy with the New Day merch.
No, you have to understand. I feel like not only did the New Day, but Up, Down, Down saved his career, and it gave him a little bit more credibility with the higher ups, let him shine.
He had nothing. He had what? Someone's gonna call my mama? That's what he had before the New Day. He had nothing. Of course he had nothing other than the New Day. Of course that saved his career.
But Manny, what about you? Did you think that.
No, I always knew he was a good wrestler. Like he's a good singles wrestler, but like you looked at him differently because he was always the floor guy in the trio of the New Day. He was always on the floor playing trumpet, being the fool. When given the chance, when given a chance when Kofi got injured, or if Big E was written off TV for a bit when they were paired together, and he had to do it alone, he always put on a good show. It's just the fact that we have that thought in our mind that he's always the floor guy. That means he's shit.
And the funniest thing though, this SmackDown on Friday was the first time I saw, wow, he could be the star. He could be the breakout star from the New Day, because like
he's already too late.
No,
too late.
No,
it's already too late. Kofi and E are already the stars.
I know they've been champions. I get what you're saying, but I'm
just
saying,
Ringo.
Like, when Roman came to the ring and he was just upset because he decided to take some time to himself. And for the ladies, he ran around naked and drove his wife crazy for whatever reason.
Even though there's video footage of him last week being at SmackDown after SmackDown went off air.
That was not him. That was a stunt double. That was a double.
It's a narrative that he wants to have, that he was on the beaches in his buff. But he was upset when he found out that the Usos lost to the New Day. And he wanted to know who got pinned last week. And at the point, I did not remember who got pinned.
I didn't either. But I felt like it was Jimmy the entire time.
But clearly, Marcus, Roman was doing the bullshit that people do, where he already knew the answer. And he wanted to know who was going to do it. So he went straight to Jimmy. And he was going to lay it into Jimmy, but then he was interrupted by King Woods and his knight, Kofi Kingston. And
the hand of the king.
I would say what makes Woods work in this situation is his facial expressions. It's very reminiscent of Booker T. Like, he has that mystique about him that, hey, I am the king and I run this show. Manny, did you think... Because I know I am. Did you think you would ever be excited for a possible Xavier Woods Roman Reigns match?
I am, but I mean, I'm more excited to watch him get killed by Roman Reigns.
We didn't say he was going to win.
The way that Superman punch hit him and the crown went flying, I was like, yes, I need to see this immediately.
I honestly wanted to see Roman Reigns go through different universes, Superman punching different kings at that moment. At that very moment, it was just a montage of, who's next? Let him get this guy. Let him get King Arthur. Let him get King of Air. Let him get, what you call him? What's the King of Gondor? Aragorn.
The King of Kings.
Let him get Hunter. Yes, just keep going. You ready to punch Jesus, Eric?
But I mean, like, the thing is, like, this is literally...
Jesus Christ can't dodge the Superman punch, Eric.
I don't think so, Marcus. I don't think so.
He'll come back in 3 days.
But, like...
Just like Adam Cole under Concerto.
It was just like, he held his own with Roman on the microphone, and then came up with a stipulation where pretty much they're fighting for who has control over Friday Night SmackDown. Where is it the King or is the Tribal Chief? And so they're going to have a match where Jimmy will face Xavier. I was kind of shocked because I thought he would send Coffee out to do his duty, but whatever. Maybe he's a hands-on king. And if Woods defeated Jimmy, then Jimmy would have to bend the knee. But if Jimmy defeated Woods, then Woods would acknowledge Roman Reigns. Marcus,
unnecessary drama that I was all in for.
Tell me, it was like I can't wait for the main event for this stupid ass bend the knee situation.
You knew Jimmy was losing.
Yes.
Everybody and their mama knew Jimmy was losing. The question was he going to bend the knee? And then, I guess we could jump to the main event.
We could do that.
Because it's time for the main event. When he was about to bend that knee, it was like, oh no, this is dark. And Roman with that same thing. There has to be a fine because once a match becomes a stipulation, I believe you have to do it. So next week, I believe we have to get Jimmy or Jay to fight Woods, and he will have to bend the knee. And what I like about this storyline the most is that you say, Manny, earlier there is no build for Survivor Series. No, this is the build for Survivor Series. It's leading to Big E getting revenge on the death of Kofi Kingston for the 8th time this year. And for the dismantling of the King Woods that Roman's going to put on him. And Big E will have to get the revenge at Survivor Series when it's brand versus brand.
You know, Marcus, the downfall of skipping to the main event is that we had to, we almost was going to skip by one of my favorite parts of the thing is when Roman's in the locker room and he's talking to his cousins and he's like pretty much giving it to Jimmy. And then Jay is back there reciting whatever the tribal chief rules of engagement are. And I was just laughing like, man, Jay has bought in. Jimmy has not bought in. It just...
But the funny thing about that was, though, Eric, was Jay is not even really in focus in that shot.
No,
he's
not.
All you can do is hear him.
Yes.
What do we don't lose.
Like, they didn't even have the cinematic mode on the Apple camera, the iPhone for that. I mean, like they could have cut to it. But literally, this entire
I'll tell you my favorite. Oh, go ahead.
This entire show for me was gonna be a good show because I was so invested between who's gonna bend the knee, who like the thing, then the freaking artwork of them taking pictures and just putting a little graphic over it. Like, are we gonna acknowledge the king? I mean, I look forward to when Xavier poses with his scepter. Even when Kyla Braxton, the town gossip.
You don't call it Kyla Bratt.
Yeah, you know I might.
Kayla, her name is Kayla.
Kayla, sorry, Kayla. It's been a long time.
You knew your girls.
The town gossip, as was decreed by the king, came up to get the. I enjoyed this. This made Friday Night Smackdown for me, and it was nothing they could do to stop me from enjoying that show. Nothing.
Oh, they could.
They tried. They tried, but they did not succeed.
Little moment I enjoy is the random Paul Heyman when Roman puts his hand up in the microphone and the Uso, I forget which one, is still talking. He's like, he put his hand out. He put his hand out. He don't want the microphone. He put the microphone in his hand. He clearly does that. You gotta understand. And I was like, I really laughed at that because I don't know. I got Joe Pesci's Lethal Weapon vibe for that for whatever reason. He put the mic in his hand. But all right. So now that all that's happened, now that the talk is done,
we gotta go to the rest of the show. And I would say that once again, probably the second storyline of SmackDown that has everybody intrigued is Naomi, Sonya, and I'm tired of using Shayna Baszler in this situation, but literally Naomi gets the win, and Sonya comes out and says that you were entangled in the ropes, therefore it should have been a break. And therefore, this match is thrown out, and we start the match over.
You gotta know your rules, Eric.
Now we're playing. Now we're taking count of the rules. Now we're taking count of the rules on this.
Marcus, I'm not gonna ask you about the match.
We need to get Mike Pereira in here, and what did he call on that NFL official?
I need VAR.
Yes.
Mark, I'm not gonna ask you about the match. I'm gonna ask you this simple question. When is Naomi gonna whoop Sonya's ass? Because I need Naomi to whoop Sonya's ass and get suspended like Brock Lesnar did. That's what I need to have happen.
I want $1 million, and then I want Roman to get pissed, and then she's in the bloodline.
Yeah. So my main thing I'm assuming we're getting at maybe Survivor Series because Sonya is technically not on any brand, and we probably could get it there.
I think that's going to be safe for a SmackDown thing. I don't think that's going to be Survivor Series.
Well, maybe, but whenever we get it, I look forward to just Sonya putting it on her. And just teach Naomi what she knows. Because Sonya was right in her argument as in, why are you doing this, Naomi? And she simply said, have you seen Naomi this good ever on the microphone? Have you ever seen this much passion out of Naomi? She literally sounds like she want to whoop my ass. She can't, but she sounds like she That's kind of what she was saying. And I don't know, I'm enjoying this little petty-ass feud they're having. And it seems to be building up each week. Even though Adam Pearce was here tonight, even though he wasn't. They're like, oh, he's back for recovery.
I mean, I wanted him in his little ass office.
I kind of think that the feud's going to pass Survivor Series. I think that Sonya has no reason to really engage with Naomi, but I think it's one of the few stories that are going on in professional wrestling, at least in the WWE universe, and I'm compelled by it. Like, the match is whatever. I just wish that she had different opponents. What could they do now going forward between their feud, Manny?
I think there'll be a lot of stalling. I think Sonya's going to put her in situations that she's not going to. Naomi's just going to get more pissed at Sonya. I would start giving her handicap matches every week,
But
with the numbers of the competitors rising every week till we realize, we fired all the women.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the women on the. I can't think of any women on this roster other than Shayna, who takes pins every week on any show.
No,
there's Naomi, Sonya, Charlotte, Shotzi.
You feed her to Shotzi.
Aaliyah.
You feed her to angry Shotzi. That's what you do. I think.
And Sasha Banks a snake.
So Manny, I go to you. Ridge Holland got a chance to talk. Kayla asked him, "What is he excited about SmackDown?" And he decided to go on
just talking about Sheamus for like 2 minutes.
He hyped up Sheamus, man. And I mean, and the thing about it, he wasn't wrong. Wasn't wrong.
No,
I mean, Sheamus is the guy, but like,
I mean, shit.
You've got 2 minutes to shine. I'm not talking about Sheamus.
I'm gonna say it for the record. Sheamus is the most disrespected wrestler in all of wrestling today. The dude just puts out banger matches each single time. Hey, everybody likes him, but yet Sheamus gets no respect of being one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the business today in any company. But Ridge Holland's gonna get fucked up by Sheamus, and I can't wait.
I feel like that's gonna happen.
Sheamus is just gonna come out and was like, I don't need a fan.
So of course I was excited to see the Xia Li package, but unfortunately I hate that she's going back to her old combat gear. But then the moment of
maybe that's what because we didn't on this show, on this podcast, the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast, we didn't cover 2.0. And what was your interpretation of the Boa situation with Mei Ling and Tien Shaw and him deciding to put on mommy's makeup when she walked away?
Man, he just got up into the purse, man. I just it's like he was going for the hashtag on his face, but he ran out of time because the camera was there. I don't know if it goes anywhere, but with the whole
do you think the 1,000-year-old ladies come to SmackDown?
No, I hope not. I hope not. They don't need her there. You got a king and you got a tribal chief. You don't need somebody who's been around for 1,000 years. It creates too many problems.
I fucking need that so much.
Although,
I need them all to go up.
It's almost to the point where you get to heel con.
By the way,
well, we love
Boa
got
to mommy's makeup kid. Hope daddy don't come home because he may fight him. He's like, what are you doing, son? You're supposed to be a man. And it's like, oh shit.
So
that's a homophobic Nazi.
Shotzi was fed up, man.
Yep.
She has lost title opportunities. She has lost tag partners, and she lost the biggest match of her career. Banks is her new target, and I quote, "She doesn't need a tank to run over her." So WWE accomplished a couple of things in this. First, they kept continuity alive. They point out all the atrocities that Shotzi has faced.
She lost all her partners, and Tegan Nox, whose knees were released this week as well.
Secondly, they got rid of the tank. They got rid of the tank, which they said they were going to get rid of a tank, by her saying, I don't need the tank anymore. Manny, Shotzi's a friend of the show. You had spoken kind words with her. She did the opening. How did you feel about her being evil, Shotzi?
I mean, it's a new direction for her, which I'm kind of wanting to see. The tank thing, I think, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it because I want that Shotzi toy. I'm going to buy that Shotzi figure with the tank.
Just think
but like,
she's going to come back with the tank.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see because her moveset looks like it's designed for someone that is a face. So she probably have to change that up a bit. So it'd be interesting to see. And then it's a good thing that we don't have Sasha in the title picture immediately because we'll get very tired of that because the only two main women on that is Sasha and Charlotte, and we'll get tired of that very quickly. So it's a good thing that this happening, and we'll get a different direction for Shotzi, which will be I'm going to be interested in because Sasha is a snake.
I thought this was Shotzi's best promo. I must say that I do not like face Sasha, but at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for business. Marcus, what about Shotzi, the new Shotzi? What do you think?
I thought she handled herself well. I thought she was going to at least go to the ring as they were advertising Shotzi Blackheart Speaks. I wanted to hear what she had to say. I thought she was going to go to the ring. But I do think she's kind of lying about losing the support of the fans when she had more support last week to beat up Charlotte Flair than anybody has had in a long time to beat up Charlotte. By the way, Charlotte was probably not on this show this week. probably suspended or something.
No, she got the vacation too, like Roman Reigns. She's probably it was Andrade's birthday, so she probably went out of town with him. So SmackDown at this point,
that's a fact. Yeah,
SmackDown at this point just had some of the most random shit that happened. And I'm just gonna go through it really quickly, and then I'll allow you guys to go and talk about whatever one you want to talk about. We had Los Losterios and Carrillo and Garza defeating Cesaro and Mansoor. That's a lot to chew on.
Whoa! You gonna skip over a Mansoor match?
No, Marcus, I'm gonna let you speak on what you just give me. Let me go through the quick stuff, Marcus.
Hold on. I got more pushback from moving past a Boa match than you over a Mansoor match.
Then we had Jeff Hardy in the back preying on young women, Aaliyah, who was saved by Sammy, who then had an interaction with Hit Row, being taught how to do an entrance. Then
how Hit Row interacted with Sammy is how I interact with Seinfeld.
Okay. Then we had Drew McIntyre's open challenge that was answered by Ricochet, who was then watched in the back by Ali, who then, after Ricochet lost, got turned down by Ricochet to be a partner with him. And then last but not least, we got a match between Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss against the Viking Raiders, where the Viking Raiders got a win. Marcus, if it wasn't for the King and the Tribal Chief, this would really make SmackDown be shit. All this stuff that goes on, Marcus.
I disagree.
Go ahead, speak your truth, my brother.
1000%. I thought SmackDown was a solid show, and you're just glossing over it. It got to feature a lot of the new talent that Triple H has groomed from NXT to the main roster. This was a lot of NXT call-ups and stuff. They were establishing the new characters of SmackDown on this show. The Los Lostarios, Mansoor, even though he lost. The Viking Raiders actually look good for a change. Normally they come out there and they're doing their squash match and they get no reaction. They got a reaction because they got the whoop up on your boy Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss in a solid match. I really enjoyed that match. And what's the other thing that I'm missing? There was something else in there.
You didn't talk about Mansoor?
Oh, I was going to talk about him in his own category.
Okay, Ricochet.
Oh, he has his own category now.
Oh, and Ricochet and the return of Ricochet, who I was like, oh, he wasn't cut, got the Claymore of the Year with the moonsault into the Claymore.
Yeah, but when you look at the picture now, clearly he missed.
Hey,
well, no, that picture doesn't show the end. That
Betty,
picture,
if you got kicked in your arm that hard too, you might not get up either.
You don't know if he got the arm. That's just a bad angle. But, you know, he had vertigo, too. And he was dizzy. And he got food poisoning and everything else with that kick. But he got the shit kicked out of him. And, you know what? Ali's been trying to recruit Ricochet for like 8 years now. Maybe Ricochet will finally listen and join Ali. Because that whole Retribution storyline is back. And I do like that they gave Ali some time. Like, it was a lot of new faces on the show, and a lot of new people, and including Woods in the title picture. I enjoyed the SmackDown. It went by pretty fast for me, to be honest.
I didn't say it was a bad SmackDown.
Also looked good in the suit.
I wish I had that suit.
Yeah, his suit is on point, yep.
Manny, of all those things that I talked about, what something that really stood out, would you like to talk about?
I want to know what Jeff Hardy and Aaliyah were talking about.
Me too. Well,
that's like one of the most unsolved mysteries ever. What are they talking about? They were talking about horse riding at one point.
Yeah. So the whole thing of they were talking. Kayla shows up with the microphone. Want to talk to Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy blows Kayla off because he says Sammy's moving in on my girl. I have to go over there and break this shit. I got to cock block Sammy, who is over there telling Leah, you can't be dressing like this.
You need to put some pants on.
You got to put some clothes on, baby. You're going to have to cover up. You want to be around here. And then Jeff Hardy came back over there and was like, man, she's my girl, man. These old men fighting for this young 20-something-year-old girl. And I don't know where that's going. And I hope it starts the biggest feud in SmackDown.
She reminded me of Carmella. And once I saw her, I was like, that's why Carmella's not on SmackDown no more. You can't have both of them on the show.
Why? Leah can't do anything in the ring.
Carmella at one point couldn't either.
Carmella really can't eat it though.
And that's what Jeff was not. But yeah, like the pairing of Cesaro and Mansoor was probably the biggest head scratcher. But overall, I thought
Cesaro taking a pin. Do you care?
No.
Over Mansoor, who they're still protecting even after the Saudi show.
I mean, it's clear that it's one of those things that you kind of would be surprised.
Can you stop speaking with your mic?
That Cesaro wasn't on the list of release talent also, because ever since he had his match with Roman, he ain't done shit. Really?
Well, he has no charisma. That's the problem with Cesaro. He's a tag wrestler at best. He needs the other guy.
I disagree on up, down, down. He's hilarious.
No, he's great. He's great, but wrestling-wise, personality, larger than life, come at you charisma, nah. He has his stupid jokes that he up, down, down that he delivers, which are fun, but that doesn't translate well.
And unfortunately, I think Hit Row is dead in the water.
No, I think they're okay.
I don't know.
I think they're alright. They survived without B-Fab. I like that B-Fab was holding that shit together.
Yeah. B-Fab not being there really.
Nah, they're okay.
I mean, you compare any woman with them. Put Leah with them. You get the same result.
Yeah. I feel like what they did was solid with Sammy. It wasn't really about anything. It was more just to fill time. They don't really have much to do. Who are they going to feud with right now? There are no factions. They're more of a tag team. And I can't even recall who the tag team champions are right now. Oh, it's Usos. So they can't go after him just yet. Maybe if Woods recruit them to go after Roman because Kofi's dead.
Well,
that's pretty much where we're at.
Overall, SmackDown was an entertaining show, though. I don't have any complaints. I mean, it wasn't bad what happened in between, but it was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is all interesting right here.
It was new. Let the youngins get over.
Overall, I thought it was a very solid week of wrestling, and I thought you and Manny did a great job of covering it on the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, which airs Tuesday and Thursdays on our YouTube channel and in the audio feed, usually late Thursday or early Friday morning or in Wednesday. For that, though, that pretty much concludes this show. We have no emails.
Do you have any thoughts? You have any thoughts on Raw? I bet you didn't even watch it. I did watch Raw. You didn't watch it. You didn't watch Raw.
I did.
What's your thoughts on Raw?
I don't have any right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. It's nice being back.
You didn't watch it.
I did. But you know what? Chime in and let us know what you think. You know, you can do that by emailing us at thesharpshooters@gmail.com. Or if you want to make it easier, you can comment at the bottom of this video after you hit that like button and let us know, hey, what did you like about the show? What do you think of the WWE releases? Who are you shocked that was not released? You could comment on how we talked about Adam Cole being pretty much cranberry sauce, not even a main side, but a side of a side. And we could talk about the Battle of the Kings, the Tribal Chief versus King Woods. Are you excited for that? However, that concludes all the talking that we have done. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And until next time, stay sharp. We out. Manny, are you dropping the bomb?